Saki mbwembwe na kwele mchele kwa kuku kumwaga. Sako na wapenda yatusema nitasikia.
Hi everyone, my name is John Ninfo and I'm here in Rochester, New York in the United States. And I wanted to do a few things today. First tell you about my history, and then I want to tell you about some of my philosophies of life and habits that I built and motivations that got me perhaps where I have been in life. So to start off with, I am a retired bankruptcy judge. I was on the bench for 20 years. Now, you may not know what bankruptcy is, but in the United States, it's a national court that people go to, people or companies, big and small companies, when they have financial problems. They can't pay their bills, can't pay them on time, they have too much debt, and we try to do something to help them in some sort of a way, maybe give them more time, maybe put them in some sort of a plan, and we make sure that no matter what happens, that if we forgive some of their debt, that their creditors, the people they owe money to, get at least what they would have gotten if we liquidated everything that they owned and paid the creditors, because they come first. Now before that, for 18 years, I was a bankruptcy lawyer, not a judge, doing mostly big commercial cases with big companies that had 150 stores that end up in bankruptcy. So although I did a lot of bankruptcy work, I didn't deal with ordinary people. And then when I went on the bench as a bankruptcy judge, and by the way, there were less than 300 bankruptcy judges in the whole country at that time, of a population of 330 million people and only less than 300 bankruptcy judges. So it's an important role that we played. And then when I went on the bench, I saw ordinary people every day making incredible mistakes with their finances, things that we couldn't have done and wouldn't have done when I was growing up. And it made me realize that in the United States, with our debt is okay hyper-consumer society, we had a national epidemic of financial illiteracy. So I started to go into the schools to talk to young people, so hopefully they wouldn't make the mistakes that I saw in the court every day. And I've been doing that for 23 years. When other people around the country learned what I was doing, they said we should be doing that too in the bankruptcy community, because we see all this every day and we have a lot of interesting, good stories and things to tell young people. So I started going on national media and writing articles and going to cities all over the United States to train lawyers and judges and trustees. And by 2009, CARE, the program that I started, we call it CARE because we care about young people, was in all 50 states in the District of Columbia. And it continues today, making a real difference, and maybe that will be my legacy. I didn't start off wanting to be a lawyer at all. I started off wanting to be a clinical psychologist, work in the mental health field, but I ended up in the United States Marine Corps as a legal clerk, and I learned about the law every day working with it, and I thought it was a fascinating profession. So I ended up going to law school, being a lawyer, and ultimately being a judge, something I never intended to do and wouldn't have done if it weren't for the Marine Corps. And I didn't go to help anybody, and I didn't go to make a lot of money. I thought I just had a great love for the law. I thought it was so fascinating. So that's a little bit of my history. Here's some philosophies of life that I've lived by that maybe you can consider and think about for your future. First, most important, work ethic. You've got to give 150% for everything you do, and you always have to strive for excellence. I learned that from my immigrant Sicilian family and from the United States Marine Corps. The other thing is you need to be organized in life. You need to build good habits. You don't want to keep reinventing the wheel. The more you get organized and the more you get things done efficiently, the more time you'll have to do other things, including things that you really enjoy. Another thing is to remember that life is about opportunities, and you need to do everything you can to position yourself for those opportunities that come along. And keep your ears open, your eyes open, connect the dots, try to find ways to take advantage of opportunities, and don't burn any bridges behind you. Don't take drugs, don't get arrested, don't do any of that stuff that can end up ruining an opportunity for you that you could really enjoy. Be self-determinative and self-motivated. My Family always taught me that you have to get yourself through life, no one else. And so you are the one who gets yourself through life. If people help you, mentor you, in any way do things for you, be very thankful. But remember, you can't rely on anybody. You have to get yourself through life. Number 5, have a sense of humor. That's why I have my Captain America tie on today. Sense of humor will go a long way, and have a positive attitude for everything you do. The people around you will be attracted to that if you have a sense of humor and a positive attitude. No matter how much money you have in life, it doesn't matter. Be a good manager of the money that you have and make sure you get the best dollar, the best value you can for every dollar that you work so hard for. And make sure that you learn to be a lifelong saver, so you have money for emergencies and things like that. Be passionate about everything that you do. And if you're not going to be passionate about it, don't do it unless it's something that you absolutely have to do. So don't sign up for something just because it sounds good if you don't have a passion inside for it. Because if you don't have that passion, you're never going to do a 100% job. The other thing is always do the right thing. Be a person of integrity who has ethics that people know they can rely on and respect, because you will always do the right thing. The other thing is, be interested in a lot of things. Develop a lot of interests in life, not just your work, but sports interests or other kinds of interests. They'll pay off for you in the long run. And the last thing is, make sure that when you've got your life in order, that you volunteer to help others. One of the basic things I've always lived by is the more that you've been given, the more you have to give back. And I always say nobody's been given more in life than I have. And so everything I do in my retirement is for not-for-profits to try to make the world a better place. So I work in the CARE program. I was in 56 different schools last year talking about personal finances. I volunteer at a bird of prey sanctuary where I do educational programs to teach people about that. I am a trail guide and a docent at a Native American site because I'm very interested in that. Because my wife, who you're going to hear from, is in theater, I'm the house manager for 6 different performing arts programs, and I write a weekly column on personal finance in 2 papers. So those are the things I do in retirement, but they're all trying to make a difference for people and a difference in my community, because the more you've been given, the more you have to give back. I hope you'll think about some of these 10 things that we talked about. Maybe you can incorporate some of them in your life. I hope you do. And I hope you have a wonderful life and a successful life. And thank you for listening to this old guy for a little while. Thank you.
Nanipaga moyo nikianza kulia chozi nafutia.